Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, rekindle the flame. It's Embers. Welcome, everybody. I am your, wait a minute, deja vu. I've just been in this place before. Moxie the Een, here with the blue lock to my red lock. Isekai Sensei Sama Brad. Brad, how you doing?
I got nothing for
I had my what before I came to that one, I said my sports manga somewhat enjoyer Isekai Sensei Sama Brad, but I just loved the blue lock to my red lock because we had done blue lock and it's my old blue oni than my red oni.
There's
and this is definitely the red lock to the blue lock's blue lock.
There's a joke there about me, being the best out of all these, but I wasn't quick enough on the draw for that. Turns out I'm not the best.
Sometimes.
I got eliminated.
Sometimes you can't be the tallest and the funniest. Sometimes you have to be shorter and less funny than me, but very rarely does it occur.
I used up all of my funny earlier.
My funny juice. I'm running out of funny juice.
With that thing that I wrote that people have to sign up for our Patreon to see.
Shucks. But today, we have a special treat because Shonen Jump has put out some new manga with the end of... Undead Unluck ending, R.I.P., pour one out, what an ending, genuinely. I'm sounding very insincere as I'm saying this out loud, but I mean it. I loved Undead Unluck a lot. And whatever that other one is that I never remember.
Yakuza Family.
Yes, and also, is Hakutaku getting canceled? Or was that
that's over today.
Oh, okay, so that's... So, I mean, we're only supposed to get 2 new series, right?
Yeah,
There's 2 new series announced.
Somebody was saying, because I asked specifically if anybody knew what was going on about this, and they said that a third series probably won't start up for a little while, and they'll just do like one shots and stuff.
I guess they can do that
for a couple weeks.
Maybe they're just waiting on something to be truly polished and ready.
But there are going to be 2 brand new ones in a row.
Correct.
So stay tuned for next week.
Yeah.
Especially you, because you won't be.
I won't be there. I'll be on a boat on the ocean. I'm very excited to hear this episode that I'm not going to be in. Genuinely. But no, today we're covering Embers that literally just dropped today, February 2nd, 2025. And this is we're continuing our trend of author-artist team-up. Author Kai Kuramazaki and artist Sotaro Nishi. This is our newest Jump title since Sidcraft, however many months ago that was. Right. It feels like it's been a hot second.
Which Sidcraft is, I think, Chapter 10 released today.
Oh, wow. So what? That would have been...
But there was also like a 2-week break or something in there.
Yeah, because of Christmas and New Year. So what, November, I want to say?
Yeah, that would be... Actually, yeah, I think that's exactly right. I was just looking at some of the audio files, and I think the last one of this that we did was in November. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Also, just of other things to talk about with this one, this is our first new sports manga since Green Greens, which started over a year ago in November 2023 and only died, 7 months ago back in June. So for a second I was like, this is the only sports thing in the magazine, but I keep forgetting that Blue Box is there and we just have never read Blue Box. But I believe that's the only other sports manga in Jump right now. Yeah. Which is interesting.
And there's been some discussion about whether that actually counts as a sports manga.
If it's more romance than sport. We got to cover it. We're talking about, look behind the curtain for probably months from now. I want to do an arc probably once we finish this next arc that you haven't heard yet at the time of this, of everything in Jump we haven't covered yet. Because it's a smaller number than you'd think.
Well, because there's so much new stuff.
Because we've been doing Shonen Jumping the Gun for over a year, so it's like once you hit Kagurabachi, we've covered everything, and even a little bit, because I think we covered New Way's Exorcist in that early time, which is somehow still alive.
We went back a couple.
Yeah, so. At the beginning time before we started charging forward, but no, this is, sports are back. Football for you non-Americans.
Hey, spoiler alert, sports is back.
Sports is back. And with that, let's start my Moxie's Mox Speed manga summary. Soccer's greatest glories are monopolized. They're hoarded by those athletes who are built to be stars, trained in the skills and strategies of the sport from the youngest ages. Who can hope to break the stranglehold of these elites? Is it a team of even greater elites? Or is it a band of outlaws? Chapter 1, Noboru Haitani. A punk approaches our main character and his gang looking for a brawl to prove himself the toughest, but our protag Chan is bored by it. A classmate calls the teacher out. There's another fight, and they go running. Must be Haitani, our main guy. Haitani dodges the punk with ease, which the teacher notices positively before telling him to stop. Haitani easily knocks out the punk with one punch before telling the teacher he doesn't even like to fight. He just doesn't like dealing with weak wusses. Haitani is about to stomp the punk, but the teacher stops him. How about you challenge me, and if I win, no more brawling. Beat an old man? Easy. Turns out it's a soccer challenge, not a fight.
Interjection. When he stops him from stomping on him,
it's rad. Like he literally uses it with his foot,
which is like that's foreshadowing.
Guard counter. The teacher further goads Haitani into the challenge. You just got to take the ball from me, an old man in his 60s, easy peasy. Wait, except not so easy peasy. Despite Haitani's pride, after 2 hours, he is unable to take the ball, but he has pushed the teacher back. The teacher calls him out that he just doesn't have the energy and won't take another challenge until he learns the technique of juggling the ball. We see later Haitani practicing this move as his friends attempt to invite him to the arcade, but he declines. Gotta figure this out. Can't lose. Except he does. Many times, and the pattern continues over days. He must learn a technique to challenge again, at one point even pulling his friends in. Haitani is really frustrated with himself for not being able to do it, but the teacher says how able he is to push him back, like an unstoppable wall. He sees potential in Haitani and asks him to find 11 guys and take part in a real match for the prefectural prelims. Haitani seems motivated, but unsure if he even likes sports or soccer at all, but there's just something about it that keeps pulling him towards it. And with that, his buddies are in too. Cut to the teacher's lounge, and some teachers see how beat up our teacher is. They say Haitani is getting violent and should be expelled, but our teacher makes a point about how teaching kids shapes them, and that he's a good kid. It's just sports. Jump a month into the future, and we're at the game, where we meet our supposed rival, Takumi, on the other team. Our squad comes out in full-on baseball bat gang mode, but they're not here for a fist fight, but they will crush their opponents. Haitani goes to steal from Takumi, but he gets juked around him like nothing. But Haitani, the wall, catches up in an instant, which, despite just resulting in a penalty for Haitani, spooks Takumi. It's an exciting match, but still a blow, with Takumi's team taking up 7-0. But Takumi himself hasn't scored the whole time. He just can't shake Haitani. With the clock ticking, he asks Haitani why he's still going so hard. They literally can't win at this point. But to Haitani, he only loses if Takumi gets by him. And he won't lose. A technical battle takes place across pages until finally Takumi is just barely able to kick a point in at the buzzer. Haitani thinks all he's done since starting soccer is lose. But Takumi tells him his name. Don't forget it, because next time I'm scoring more than 1 goal against you. You shouldn't get so mad. You won. I'm the one who gets to be mad, bastard. And don't you forget that. I'm going to win, and keep on winning. Junior high is over, and it's time for high school, and time to join a soccer club. Never lost a brawl, never won a soccer match yet, but as of today, this second, I'm taking my first step towards being the greatest. This literally feels like a bunch of different sports manga we read. Like, I've already talked about before in past episodes feeling prepared after doing the sports arc, but like I am like master college level prepped for this, but also like...
Here's the deal. This is the line that has been in my head since I read this.
Yeah?
This reads as if it is literally built off of the DNA of Rookies,
yep,
Slam Dunk,
yep,
and Blue Lock.
Yep. And Greens.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically Beast Children of like, it's that like, I don't know what it is, but I have to figure it out.
Right.
Sensation.
I'm just like, oh my God, someone learned a lesson.
Someone listened to the sports arc.
Really?
They probably didn't, but yeah. They probably read them because we read all classics.
Yeah, this is literally filled with everything that is correct about all of those sports manga that we've covered.
I'm gonna rope in Ice Shield 21 by virtue that the other people attempting to get him to join a club as like little gags, and he just scares them off, which is a little backwards, but I'm trying to figure out how to work in, because that's like one of the few ones that we did that isn't kind of in there.
But the whole thing with like focusing on the delinquents,
yep,
and the teacher who wants to like build them up.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
the rivalry that comes about.
Yep.
And just I was just
It's
like,
this is
amazing.
This is a sports manga. This is how you make a sports manga.
Quintessential.
Yes. I mean, I feel like from our tones, just to get into the thing of it, like I had a good time with this.
Yeah.
I think it moved uber fast. Like when you just skipped to the game, I was just like, oh.
I suppose, but I didn't feel like I missed anything.
I feel like when you're told you have to you get the challenge of find 11 guys, and then you just erase that.
But I think the fact
I think you just don't bring that up at all.
We saw why those other guys didn't matter right now, because they lost terribly.
Yeah, then just don't talk about it.
And he's going to another school now. Like he's not in that same school anymore.
Just hand wave it away and go do this prelim thing with your buddies, and
Right.
just don't think about it because
Which
it's not
is
important.
like, yeah, that's exactly right. It's not important. Don't waste time on it.
Because the sports thing is when you create the quest to find guys, then there's iShield 21 for you. There's the thing you're doing.
Now,
but that's the thing is like I want to know what chapter 2 is to know if it's just like did you fast forward to where we want to be to get to the stuff, because like I like our main character.
Yeah.
I like what's going on.
But I do want to
say the teacher fighting for him.
I hope that the teacher and the two friends don't go away forever, because I liked. Obviously, the teacher relationship was really good.
Yeah.
But also the way that his friends supported him. Like, they're all delinquents.
Rad. Yeah.
But they genuinely care about him. Like, they're not just hanging out because he's the strongest.
No.
They're his real friends.
They're a little bit, it's a slam dunky a little bit. Though the slam dunk guys would razz him a little bit, but that's because of his like love stuff. And,
right.
But like, they did seem genuinely like buds. But yeah, even more so here. It was very like wonderfully wholesome.
And it's just like, is somebody listening to our show?
Yeah,
like,
this
what
is
the
so
hell?
specific. I think they're just reading the best sports manga that have ever come out. And we just happened to we didn't just happen to. We specifically covered all of those.
It's like we planned it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's like I planned it. I'm gonna try to straight this water gate. I don't know what the next line is. I even screwed up the initial line. Because like you don't see punks a lot anymore.
Yeah.
He said because he's better spirited, people are just less scuzzy around like than they were in the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's just my view as I get further from school.
I think it's sort of.
But I still like
a
it.
bit. Like you see bullies, but the bullies aren't delinquents.
Rebellion takes different forms.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Where they're sort of classic.
But I still like it. I like his just like. I want to be the strongest, but he's got a little bit of that understated like energy that Hanamichi had from Slam Dunk. Like Hanamichi has a certain like he's the strongest and he'll fight dudes, but he also just kind of has like he's got like I don't know if I'd call our guy like lovable goof energy, but like there's a certain amount of like he's just got like I got to figure this out, but like he's like the way he works really hard at it. Yeah. He's very sincere, but he's also like I like his like I'm not going to suffer wusses. Like I like how he pushes himself. I like he gets his up where it's just like he's the wall, but like he still has a lot to learn, but he has a thing and he's driven. Like so much of this I enjoyed. So much of this I thought my main thought in this is this has one shot energy, and I hope the author knows what to do with chapter 2.
Well, here's the thing, and this is I really think this is the best route to go most of the time. Like you said, there's an author and there's an artist, and I think that's a real key for a lot of series to do well, because the having to concentrate on the story and the art,
it's a lot.
I feel like it's too much for one person once a week.
21 is an artist author team up. So
now if it's a once a month series or something like that, I mean that's probably fine. And there's obviously auteurs out there that can do both, just absolute geniuses. But I think for a weekly series, I just think it's too much, and you should have... It's
not always about that. I mean, some of it, like, I feel like once you get going, that's where that can kick in as a problem, but I feel like I invoke it all the time of, like, chapter 1, the dog catches the mail truck already, and then the author didn't know where to go. But, like, also, like, the author has shown their pedigree by virtue of, like, oh, you've picked notes from all of the best sports manga. So and you put them together in a way that worked really well.
Well,
even if it moved a little too quick.
You touched on this a little bit.
That's the thing. It's like, where we're like, I don't know where we're going to land, but I had a good time where we were going, and you seem to know what you're doing. So it's like there's a certain level of unsureness, but a certain level of trust built from that.
Right. But you touched on this a little bit, and I think this is one of the key things for a sports manga is that the protagonist has their thing that they're good at. And here it's
Yeah.
like he's a defensive player. He's the wall, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is sort of what, obviously we have strong feelings on the morality of Blue Lock, but like the striker position is like, oh, such a big, important position. It's like, no, this is twisting it around. And, obviously we don't see where he's going to end up. But if they stick with like, he's a defender, he's not going to go and score goals, but he's not going to let other people score. Like, that gives you a more interesting place to be and explore rather than just, oh, he's a hero. Oh,
It's funny that I made the joke of like, because it's like, oh, red lock, blue lock. This is called Embers, red, fire. But like, blue lock is more fiery than Embers.
Meh.
Like, if there was not to say that like our main guy is not like hot-blooded at times, but he feels more, especially with defense. Like, defense is more water and attack is more fire. But I didn't know like it's blue lock because blue owl means young, and that's Japan. It's a fucking 50 billion blue kill, blue box. Blue, another thing I can't remember that went and left the magazine at some point, I'm sure.
It's a blue summer.
Dabba dee dabba die. There was a color they learned later, unless that's green. I think that's green that I'm thinking of.
Blue moon over my hammy.
It's just like, oh my goodness, why did that derail me so much? I have no idea. All this freaking blue. I have a girlfriend and she is so blue. No. But yeah, they seem to be cribbing good notes. Like, I'm excited. Like, build the team. I need to know who the team is. Like, can you write other characters that have their own little things going on?
Well, and he's at a different school now, so
exactly, he's at high school.
I imagine it's because he's going there specifically for soccer. So there's
Beast
an
Children.
existing
That's
team.
what Beast Children did. Beast Children. He had that moment when he was in junior high that he got to play with his rival Shin, who's not named Shin, but he looks like Shin from Eye Shield. And then he goes to high school, but he's tricked into going to a different high school. But it's the idea of like junior high is the prologue, and then high school is where you're at. I just hope, as much as I was like, maybe I'm coming around on Beast Children. Like, I stopped reading it because it just sort of felt very like gray and fuzzy. It wasn't very clear what it was trying to do consistently. It didn't feel like it had a strong sense of outside of like, yeah, rugby. And I'm just hoping this.
You don't have to worry about it because it's over.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen here. But like everything I'm seeing, I think of every sports one we've read for Shonen Jumping the Gun. I think this has, as much as we liked Green Greens is like a fun conceptual thing, but it's like this one feels like a fun, fiery tale for teenagers, but also like I'm having a good time with it. But it's just like I'm excited to see what else this author does with like, here's other character, like, because it's like you got to build a team and they have to have their own things going on. And I'm excited to meet some other characters when we're not just having to set things up. But so far it's like I like our main guy. I like the teacher. I'm kind of confused why he doesn't get a name. That makes me worried he might not show back up.
Yeah.
I like his buddies, which admittedly his buddies don't have names either, and I feel like they'd show back up because they were designed. I like that one of his buddies has the very anachronistic like Yankee hair from like the 90s and the 80s. I love that. Like that is very clearly, it's like, yes, I know. I've read Slam Dunk. Or maybe, I don't know. I'd be very curious if the author said put that in or if the artist was just having a fun time with it or not, now that I think about that. Speaking of the art, I like the art. It's like a little boxy, boxy isn't like, it's a little angular. It's a little squarey. I mean that in a good way. It's got like a sense to it.
Right.
It's not like the most amazing thing ever, but like I enjoyed it. It felt like it had a
consistent.
It had an idiosyncraticness to it that I enjoyed, and I don't think I ever had a panel where I was confused about what was happening visually. Like outside the funky pacing, which like I can hand wave for a chapter 1 when you want to rush stuff in, like I'm good. What of sports things we learned? We didn't start building the team. We played the sport.
Yeah.
Which I like originally, it was like, oh, you should play the sport. And it's like, none of the great ones ever do that. They take time. And here it was just like, oh, like that's when I think when we skipped to the game, I was just like, oh,
I think
already? What are we going to do the rest of the manga? We already played the game.
I honestly,
rookies took 4 volumes to start playing.
That might be one of the lessons that they learned from recent sports manga cancellation is to go, we know what you want. Your guys are
is it?
impatient now.
No,
here's
is
the
it?
game.
Like, there's a certain amount of rushing that I appreciate. It's like you've read these, or you know these, or your children, you don't have the attention span for it, or you're adults and you don't have the attention span for it. Like, but it felt so weird after all these other ones. Maybe that's a bigger conversation. Like,
that's a complaint that we've been hearing from our contemporaries. Like, oh, they don't play the sport until 14 chapters in or whatever. And like, yeah, we
but
can
if you're
sit
having
here.
a good time leading up, like, that's my argument for it.
Yes,
like,
and you and I can sit here and go,
maybe
we
this
don't
team's
need
gonna
it
like
to.
it.
But like, I think it's a more widespread opinion that you want to see the sport be played.
I never know if it's just it's like I do not want to have always the boomer thing if they don't make them like they used to. I'm always reminded of the one day that when I was in college and I watched them both in the single day for a film class. Did you know in the old Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I guess Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, the original one is called that because each movie is named about the character they're not paying attention to.
Right.
So the original one is Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, the old musical from like the 70s or whatever. It takes like an hour to get to the factory.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
And then I say newer movie, but now there's the newer movie, which I have not seen. But then when it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is the one with Johnny Depp in it, they're there like, get in the factory now. And it's just like, one of those movies is an all-time classic, and one of those movies is in the rearview mirror of time. And one of them, the one that stuck around, is the one that took longer to get there. And I don't know if that's just because it is old, it gets to have an aura about it that just... Because it's not like when I'm watching that movie, I'm not like, when are we going to get to the chocolate fireworks factory? I'm just taking the movie in. And it doesn't feel like I'm in such a rush. And I don't know if it's just because it's old and I'm used to old things being like that, or if it's just everything has to be that now. And maybe it is because everybody clamors when it doesn't seem like a manga's going somewhere.
I mean...
Maybe we're all just a bunch of fucking impatient pricks. And we've been lied to too many times as well.
I don't want to make sweeping
I know.
judgments because
I know. I'm
everybody's different.
Full of big boomer energy.
We both have our weird things.
Yeah, exactly.
But I honestly, I do think it's got a lot to do with shrinking attention spans.
We will see with chapter 2. That's my big statement placement. Okay.
I'm excited to keep reading this, which it's a sports manga.
Yeah, I know. You don't like those.
I was fully prepared today to be like, it was fine. And then I went, oh shit.
I'm having a great time.
This is doing all of the things that I enjoyed from those other sports manga that I didn't really care to continue. This is crazy.
Where do I think it will go? It's a sports manga. We've done it. If you want to know what I think will happen next, we did an entire arc where I got to say that over and over again. Which I guess credits to Blue Lock for being a weird thing that I couldn't get a read on.
Well, the thing with this one...
For better or for ill.
So it's not going to do an iShield 21 thing because he's going to a school that probably already has a team.
But we don't know anything about the team.
But he's going to have to join the team. He's going to have to prove himself to those people. We're going to get introduced to those characters. So
that's the interesting thing because I go back to Slam Dunk, which I guess you didn't read because you only read the first chapter because that's what the show is, and I read the rest because that's the thing. Is that like he gets put into an ecosystem that already, like a team that already exists, instead of having to build from nothing, like iShield does, and I feel like one other one. I guess Rookies technically, because they're all kind of putzes to an extent.
Now, I think there's also going to be a thing, just going to a new school, he's going to have to figure out how he fits in with this new place.
I hope he doesn't lose his like punk thing of like a teacher having to fight for him, because I like that. I could see that going away. I kind of hope it doesn't, because I like that as an extra thing of like... I'm
sure it won't go away completely, but it might be like...
It will start going the review, but I don't want it to be reviewed instantly, because I like that as like this is his outlet. I like that the teacher, like that, even if it was like 4 frames, the teacher fighting for him was like, again, maybe it's just because it also made me think of Rookies, and I was like, oh, this is nice to still see.
I wonder if there's going to be like a female, romance character.
I was curious because there's 2 girls in the cover in the chapter art, and I think one of them is like commenting at the game, and I don't remember if it was the same one or a different one that's at the recruitment table for soccer.
I think it's the same one.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because she goes, oh, it's that.
Yeah. And because she's not just a girl, she is designed.
Right.
So she'll stick around.
Now, I think what would be cool is if they do have a female character who's like, oh, I like him, I'm going to try and he just does not care at all. He's just like, no, soccer.
Yes, but maybe this is not what I think will happen, but this is what I want to happen. But I genuinely do want them to get closer over time.
Oh no, I'm sure it'll happen.
Girls, but like
right.
But I don't know. Easy to say. I want a romance relationship that I like in one of these, as opposed to ones that I don't care for.
Yeah,
it's such a lame cop out of a thing to say. It's just like I want this to be good instead of
not
good.
I think that other kid, what was his name?
Takumi, I believe.
Takumi.
Do you think he's going to be here? Or do you think he's going to be somewhere else?
I think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be already on the soccer
team. Slam dunk. Yeah, he's already. Well, he can't be. Isn't he the same year? They were both junior high students.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They both get there.
But maybe because he was already established.
It's what I thought Beast Children was going to be until I learned that the whole thing is his rival just tricked him to go to a different school.
But yeah, so
which I love that still as a concept of the rival just going, we're gonna go to the same school, we can play together. Ha ha! You freaking changed your entire future to follow me. Yeah. Fuck you.
But he's gonna be obsessed with the rival character instead of the girl who's coming on to him.
I feel like that's it's the classic thing of the rival feels like the romantic interest because how much they pine for each other. But
it works. A lot of the time it works.
It does. But it just be, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm excited for it, which is,
I'm looking forward to it.
If you listen to the sports arc, the fact that
which has not been true. Our last thing, Sidcraft was not a manga we were excited about. No. Thank you.
I enjoyed the first chapter. It's fine, but it's not good.
You're eating it to eat.
Yeah, like there's pieces of it that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Not healthy.
Not good. Eating not eating junk food.
Yeah.
Eating small scraps from the ground.
It's not going to survive.
It's not even foodstuffs. You just eat them. It's a
snack.
It's that illness you have where you eat stuff.
Oh yeah, that one guy ate
Pika.
Like a plane, right?
That's different. That's you can eat a motorcycle piece by piece.
Yeah.
No, this is like Pika where people have to eat toilet paper or something.
Oh, that, yeah. One girl eats tape.
Yeah, you're eating non-food stuffs just to shove something into your mouth.
No, I think Sidcraft is still food.
Barely.
It's just it's snack food. It's junk food.
It's the really gross hot dogs that have maybe been around a little too long at the bodega.
The problem is it could have been a healthy meal. Yeah. Like the concept could be a healthy meal, but then it's not.
Yeah. That's why it's a bad bodega hot dog instead of just like a nice hot dog or sausage or something. I don't know.
It's one of those things where it looks healthy on the outside, and then you look at the nutrition facts, and it's like 8,000 calories.
No, you cut into the hot dog, and you go, oh,
yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about
getting distracted.
That
we haven't talked about Jump in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
We've been explicitly outside the magazine. I think we've hit all the points, right?
Yeah, so we didn't really go into the art too much, but
I don't know what's more to say than I liked the style. It's a little scratchy, but I liked it.
It's not bad.
As I said, it's got a personality. It's idiosyncratic.
They did something interesting with the paneling at the end where it was like it went black and all that around the edges, and I'm not sure what exactly it was doing there, but it was interesting.
I'd have to look at that again.
It was visually interesting.
Maybe I rushed through it in these ones where we have to cover this within a day, and I was already kind of running on low fumes, which, like, credit to this that even admits that. I had a good time with it. But yeah, let's get to our thoughts and feelings.
I'm thinking that this is great.
Oh. I'm thinking that this is good.
Okay.
Because it showed me it can chameleon all these other things.
You know there's 2 levels over great, right?
What?
There's amazing and...
Yeah, I think it's good.
I'll murder everyone in this room.
I think it's good.
Okay.
And I feel that
it is really weird that I said great.
Yeah. Like a high noon. No. I feel that it is good, parentheses, excitedly hopeful. I think I've been burned too many times for either of them to go above that right now. I don't know. I don't know what a great sports series would be that would not be martial arts.
And let's be clear. This is my thinky thinks, not my feely feels.
Yeah.
I think this is great.
Yeah.
Because it's got the DNA.
But is it just Is it just regurgitating it? That I don't know yet.
It doesn't
I don't know
look
yet.
to be regurgitation
I
so
don't know
far.
yet. It has to. I need chapter 2, Brad.
What this show's for.
I know.
Make
That's how
a better
I'm
judgment
feeling
right
and
now.
thinking. I did. I'm hedging. My brain has been programmed from all these other sports things that keep getting gunned down in the streets. I'm hedging my bets.
I refuse.
Good. Good for you.
I feel that this is amazing.
Wow. Who's this?
I don't know.
Who replaced Who replaced I hate all these sports manga?
I don't know what's happening right
What's
now.
happening?
I don't know.
This is wrong. Who is this? You're not Brad.
I legitimately...
What's your feelings about isekai?
Maybe it's just...
How many isekai did you read this week?
All of them.
Okay. That's still him. Woo!
It might...
I'm sure for a second.
My feelings on this might be just because I was ready to not like this, and the fact that I liked it, just like
That can be helpful.
you did
like Green Greens, and it's got a little of that Green Greens energy of like I have to figure out what this is, but also like I feel like the sports arc helped you enjoy this and me to understand it.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It helped your feelings and my thoughts.
It's so strange though, because when I think about all of the series that go into this, the DNA of
You didn't
this,
like any of them.
It's not that I didn't like them, but I wasn't like
You weren't excited
about them.
You didn't think any of them. I don't think any. Like most of them were good at best.
But somehow this seems to me that it picked all of the things that I did like about them.
I think you're
and put
hopeful.
them together.
I think you're hopeful about sports in the magazine.
Well, yeah.
Like a lot of other people are,
But
including
why?
myself.
I don't care. I don't like sports. Why am I?
Because it's an endangered species, and you root for an endangered species.
Yeah.
It was one of the original pillars, you know. And technically, Jump had 3 pillars. It had shonen-y, action-y stuff. It had gag manga, and it had sports. And gag is like a very specialized little corner right now, taken up entirely by Roboco and Shoujo. And I mean, we already said Blue Box is kind of not really a sport, so like somebody has to hold that mantle of shonen sports. And we didn't have one until right now, since I don't even know if I'd call Green Greens holding that mantle as much as I enjoyed it.
No,
I feel like
not at all.
I honestly I feel like Martial Master Asumi was the last one, because I don't think 2 on Ice fits it either. Is that mantle?
Yeah.
2 on Ice also just didn't belong in the magazine.
Well, and that's part of the problem. And honestly, that's a problem that a lot of the current series have.
Really?
Which is
What? Hema-10 doesn't belong.
Hema-10
Sid
shouldn't
Craft
be
doesn't
there.
belong. Kyoshi was
Sid Craft
because Kyoshi 100% belongs.
Well, and that was the problem that Psych House had.
Yeah, Psych House didn't belong.
There were
in the
so many
magazine.
people who hated Psych House, but it's like it just doesn't belong.
It just doesn't belong in this magazine.
It's a fun, cozy thing.
Yeah.
It's not for you because you're reading this magazine. It's for me because I read all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
and I
but
love
I guess
it.
it's the thing of, I mean, some of that could just be throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But there is, if we're having this concept of this is what belongs in the magazine, which is what the vibes and the oeuvre of it are, then yeah. Nui's Exorcist lives for a reason.
Oh God. Did you say your feelings?
Yeah, I said it's good. Parentheses, hopefully excited.
That was your thoughts.
No, my thoughts were good.
This is not the same.
What? They're different. One of them had a parenthesis on it, and the other one didn't.
Oh, okay.
My thoughts are parentheses good, hedging my bets, and my feelings are parentheses good, hopefully excited.
Okay. Coward.
My thoughts are good, parentheses, I've been hurt too many times that even my thoughts are affected.
Yeah, that sucks for you. I'm having a great time.
I'm glad for you. I suffered through an entire sports arc with you. And this is genuinely though. I'm happy for this because I don't think I'd be so curious to see the reality, the timeline where we don't do sports arc, and then this happens, and how you feel about it.
Yeah, that's a good.
Especially, thank you, B, for giving us rookies, because I feel like that's such an important little layup in this. Like, it just feels so good to have this.
I'm really curious about what they think about this. They've been talking for a while about like giving up on Shonen Jump, and I'm just like, why do you have to make such a solid line in the sand?
Because some people decide things, Brad.
I know.
We're not just wishy-washy and eat scraps off the floor. Some of us live lives.
But then this, I'm like, look, you can just read this, right?
They have a good time with stuff.
They've got to like this, right?
I'm pretty sure they said they liked it, but we can check afterwards. Would you buy it?
Sorry for everybody in the Shonen Jump channel because I ruined the discussion the other day. We started talking about making threads for stuff, and it just went off the deep end.
I caught some of that. No, we need. This is a talk about. I want to have a conversation, but this is not to be had right now because we need to finish this because I want to eat.
The point
so do you.
of that is that I jumped in. Somebody made an Embers thread.
Yes,
and I jumped into it because it hadn't come out yet.
You marked your put your thing in. You go. I have to go away once this comes out, but right now I can talk about it.
And I haven't been in there yet today.
I found your graffiti on the wall when I came there to talk about it because I get to go in as the host.
When I get home today, I'm gonna start editing this episode, and I'm gonna jump in that channel and be like, "Everybody loves this, right?"
Excited. I don't think I caught the barometer. But I think it was generally positive. So
I don't see how you couldn't like this.
Would you buy it? Maybe you just don't like sports manga. Maybe you just hate soccer. Which admittedly I hate soccer, but I like this.
Oh, this is a tough one.
It's so strange that you're super excited.
I don't know if
I'm just tired.
If I want something like this on my shelf, but like I'm
to turn over and leave, Brad.
To keep reading this.
When you say amazing, that's a buy. That's a buy in my book. Buy the book. Buy Embers, so I don't have to. Buy the book, Brad, so I don't have to.
They're like $11, right?
Yeah, like $10, $11.
All right, I'll buy this.
Cool. I'll borrow it from you.
Yeah.
I'll borrow it with gusto.
Aren't you going to keep reading it on the app?
Oh, I'm going to keep reading on the app, but that's not what the segment is. It's only like it's
your will you buy it is you will borrow
I'll borrow it from you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's fair.
Like it's all that like it's very much like I'm glad I have the app to keep reading this. Yeah. I'm gonna have a good time with it.
No, I mean that's a no-brainer to keep reading this.
100%. I mean it's always. I mean I say that, but like I got maybe halfway through Sid Craft's chapter 2 and was just like,
that's fair.
Fuck no.
I'm very close to dropping shoujo, which. If you know me, that's a big thing.
He's getting better, folks.
I didn't
might
drop
be able to learn to quit
Hakutaku.
one day. What?
I didn't drop Hakutaku.
But Hakutaku is worth staring into the abyss for.
Yes,
I'm not the one to do it, but I'm curious enough about it. Same for Astro Royale. Like I'm
still reading that.
I'm not in the Sidcraft thread.
I actively don't like Astro Royale.
But I lurk in the Astro Royale and Hakutaku threads because I want to know how the train wrecks are going.
Only reason I'm still reading Astro Royale because I'm like, there's an interesting premise here. Get back to it.
No, fuck you. Fuck you. Nepotism is a powerful force in the world.
Yeah.
You can move magazines, you can move books once, you can move them again, and the answer is he had one, and then he was done. Even his one wasn't that great.
I think a lot of my excitement here is literally because I was ready to not be excited about this. This morning I'm like, I probably won't favorite it. I didn't press the.
I love how much of a move that is, even though you're going to read it anyway.
Well, no, because when I'm gonna continue reading something, I add it to my favorites.
Yeah, okay, but it'll still show up in your read laters, right?
I think so. But like a lot of times,
the web app, admittedly,
a lot of times I hit that button before I start reading it. But this one, I was like, it's a sports manga, whatever.
You had a moment of thought, and you decided.
I got to the end of this, and I scrambled to hit that button.
Cue Rush's free will plays,
and it really, I think I just. Maybe if I was...
Brett, I don't know rating your print. I feel like I'm getting down because you're so much more up than me right now, and I think that's why I'm just, by virtue of just this is how the scene plays out, that I'm going the opposite direction just to counterpoint a little bit. But like, I don't want to steal your son. I'm tired. I was out late the last 2 nights. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning to go see a puppet groundhog come out and tell me it's going to be fucking cold for 6 more weeks. And I had a great time. There was an accordion player. They had everybody was wearing fun hats. They read a poem that some elementary school students read. I had a gorgeous time. But also, like, I'm running on fumes, my dude. So, like, my ability to get uber excited is maybe a little low.
Now, if you wake up tomorrow morning and it's still February 2nd, what are you going to do?
We have to keep re-recording. I got to keep rereading and re-recording Embers every day. I don't think there's a manga that I'd want to be like every day we have the same episode. I feel that's a bonus episode at some point.
You can only escape the loop when you say this is the best thing you've ever read.
I've ever read. I refuse.
No, I honestly, no. I really thinking about it, like the turnaround I had on this, I think is what hyped me up.
I liked Embers. I'm excited to read more of it. I think I'm just tired and being a counterpoint contrarian to Brad because it's fun and it makes it stretches the scene a little bit more than me just
I think there's really
But I
something
do
to
think
like
you're more excited than I am about it.
having low expectations and having that turned around.
Yeah, Brad, you understand
Yeah.
why when you overtalk something to me, it usually backfires?
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying I get it.
I'm saying the quiet part out loud directly into your ears because you're right, Moxie.
This one time.
Let's land this plane. Let's land this plane. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You want to high noon me? You want to high noon me, fucker?
No, we don't need it.
I don't want to high noon. We're in agreement.
If anything, this would be a low 8 p.m.
This is that's what it's feeling like. That's how I'm feeling. I'm hungry. But yes, thank you everybody for listening. That was the new Jump series, Embers. Check back with us next week when whatever the series that drops then will be. I don't remember. I don't care. I mean, I care. I'm going to read it, but I won't be on that episode.
Actually, I don't know what it is.
I'll be on a boat. It's been announced somewhere, but I never know. It's hard to tell always. It's like, what's the new Jump series? What's a new Jump Plus series? And what's just some random garbage BumpBots posted in the thread?
I really wish. So there's a Twitter account for like Shonen Jump news.
Yeah.
But there's just so much stuff all the time.
That's what I'm saying. And so much of it's Jump Plus because it's still Jump related. It's like, I just want the magazine and that's it.
There's not a good just here's a place with a list and then it'll tell you what the upcoming one is. And it's like it's so hard to find information. If someone wants to make that, I will like plug the hell out of it.
Cool.
I'll support you. I'll give you like $2 on Patreon.
There you go. But yeah, thanks for listening. Have fun next week. Brad, hit me with them plugs.
Well, as always, we need to thank Segoy Mart for partnering with us. Segoy Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. They got all kinds of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can click the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. And we want to know what you think, so hit us up on social media, which you can find links for on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com. You can find links to our Discord up there. Our Discord's a great place to come and chat with us. Come and chat with us about this brand new series.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Let's get excited.
And next week, too.
Let's kick up the heat about Embers and whatever happened next week.
And you can also go out there and find links to our Patreon. Our supporters get perks like bonus episodes, one of which we recorded earlier, which is out. If you're listening to this, unless you're a Patreon who got the episode early, it's already out. Also, you can get the high-quality stereo version of these episodes early, and our patrons get to vote on what we cover on heroin addiction. So be sure to check that out. And, of course, we need to shout out all our patrons. So, first and foremost, at our noble tier, we have our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf.
Oh, that's it.
Okay, then.
Cut out me saying that's it.
No, I'm not cutting any of this.
Oh.
Next.
Sorry, Cake Dwarf. You're very royal.
At our reincarnator tier, we've got Moon. And last but not least, at our commoner tier, we've got Rena and Kill Hour. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you once again, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to all the series on our feed. And, Brad, help me blow on these embers so we can really get this turned into a big, exciting fire.
What is this? Are we good? Are we doing a bit?
Are we doing a bit? You can't forget the. Are we good, Vader? Is this a bit? I didn't think of the opener bit.
You bastard.
I wrote down the joke. Well, no, because I write the joke ahead of time, but I don't write this one because sometimes I like figuring this out with you to get the vibe of it. I guess it's because it's sports manga.
On this episode, rekindle the flame. It's Embers.
I like that. I was going to say things are heating up, but I like because this is a return to sports and Shonen Jump. I like that.
And soccer.
What does soccer have to?
Return to soccer.
Oh, because of Blue Lock?
Blue Lock's a different magazine.
No, but I'm...
Oh, wait, never mind. No, Beast Children's rugby. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, we haven't done. Well, mostly it's just I don't understand what that has to do with. I guess soccer is back because like we didn't cover Captain Tsubasa,
but yeah, we just consider it.
But it's just
sports.
The fact that sports are back.
Yeah. Try a more subdued one because we're rekindling the flame.
On today's episode, it's time to rekindle the flame. It's Embers.
I mean, that wasn't more subdued at all, but okay.
What do you mean? Just like less? Because I feel like I'm getting to resonate really well in my throat and it feels nice.
As long as I get to make the sounds, I don't care which one you use.
Unless I was like really proud of one or the other, but I just like the tone of voice for all of them. He sees potential in Haitani and asks him to find 11 guys and take part in a real match for the prefectural prelims. Blah. Haitani seems motivated.
You didn't want to do that in one?
No. I could, but I don't want to. I'll do it. Don't do that to people. Like, the gag is good, but don't do that part. Or I won't do that part.
Hold on, I'll get the
Yours
bellows.
Yours is more puffy than mine is. I don't know how to explain. Your air blowing is deeper. It's lower timbre.